You find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you're already dead! Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity.
Alright folks, welcome back. So this is once again the Mars Mystery. Disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use, blah blah blah, I'm sure you know the drill by now. The Mystery of Cydonia, 1,000,000 to 1, Part 2. So we start with Dust Storm. In February 1971, astronomer Charles F. Kappan predicted, quote, that a dust storm could arise towards the end of the summer. When Mariner 9 turned on its TV camera on 10th November, it revealed a planet whose surface was completely obscured by a violent global dust storm, Hancock writes. The dust storm was so intense that the Mariner 9 was forced to wait before it could land. The Soviet probes still landed and were swiftly destroyed by the violent Martian storm. Mariner 9. So the Mariner 9 drifted in orbit, patiently waiting for the storm to clear. Hancock points out that the Soviet probes had been pre-programmed, whereas the American Mariner wasn't and could have its mission altered. The Mariner 9 began mapping both the southern and northern hemispheres. Quote, by the time it ran out of fuel, it had captured 7,239 stunning images of Mars with sufficient resolution to reveal surface features as small as a football field, Hancock writes. Revelations. When the dust clouds subsided, they unveiled a geologist's dream. Dark spots poked through the storm clouds were disclosed as immense volcanoes. Olympus Mons, 3 times the height of Everest, Ascranus Mons, Pavonis Mons, and Arcea Mons on the Great Tharsis Bulge, he continues. Scientists were astonished by the Valles Marineris. The impact craters of Hellas, Isidis, and Argyre shed a great deal of light on what killed the red planet. The beckoning pyramids of Mars. So the Mariner 9 passed over the Elysium quadrangle twice, in February and August 1972, showing distinct pyramidal structures. 2 years later, the Icarus magazine published an article, Pyramidal Structures on Mars. The structures cast shadows. This was no light trick this time. Hancock writes, quote, it has been calculated that the volume of the largest is 1,000 times that of the Great Pyramid of Egypt, and that it is 10 times as high. Weird geology. Hancock continues, quote, there are 4 tetrahedral pyramids at Elysium, a larger and a smaller pair in close proximity, facing each other across the arid plain. They seem to have been set out in a definite pattern of alignment, a feature associated with pyramids on Earth. Scientists have tried to explain them as wind-faceted volcanic cones. This simple explanation does not stand up to closer examination. In the mid-1970s, wind tunnel tests were conducted in LA by NASA engineers who recreated formations encountered and photographed by the Mariner 9. Quote, all this experiment proved was that soil accumulation or wind sculpting could not provide for 4 equally spaced tetrahedral formations, writes Hancock. Quote, it was not possible to simulate an evenly spaced arrangement in the wind tunnel to match the mathematical distances one finds in the 4 major and minor pyramids in Elysium. Hancock states that scientists, quote, attributed these formations to glacial sculpting or eroded rotating lava blocks. He goes on to suggest that there isn't any evidence of glaciers on Mars within the tropic areas where Elysium is located. Quote, perhaps scientists have not been able to replicate them because they were not produced by natural processes. Could they be the first sign that Mars is marked by the fingerprints of an ancient extraterrestrial civilization?
Ooh, that's a bingo! Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just say bingo.